YouTube, welcome back to the White One Auto channel, and today we have a Dodge Charger in here. I'm not sure what year, I think it was a 14 or so, I believe. Let's take a look up here and see. Oh, excuse me, I was wrong. It's a 2012 according to the hood. Hopefully that's correct, because you can see we got a little bit of body damage, so we hope that is good. So what it's in here for, I'm told the car is a misfire. The owner took it to his local repair shop. They put new 16 spark plugs, because remember, this is a Hemi. The cover is here. I just have the cover off, the beauty cover. But it is a Hemi, so it has 2 spark plugs per cylinder. You can see how wide the coil pack is there, because they fire 2 spark plugs. So I was told that all 16 spark plugs were replaced. The misfire has stayed. And they took it to the dealer checked it out and told them that they had to bring it back. So I think they might have told them that they had to bring it back, because you can see from this extra ground wire right here that something is probably a little bit off on this car. So I'm also told that this car is a salvage title car, which means that it was involved in a major automobile accident, flood, or theft, whereas the insurance company decided to completely write the car off and just pay the owner out. So we will see what is going on. Now, it's been sitting overnight. I drove it in last night, and I noticed, I thought the engine made a little bit extra of noise. So let me start it up. This is a cold start, and let's see if you guys can hear the noise. So as you can see, it was running really shaky, and I hear a little bit of a noise. Sounds like something's going on. You also got a flat tire here. This is the way it came in. There's an air pump in the back seat. So I have the scanner inside. Let us hook the scanner up, and then we will see what codes we are. So one thing I just noticed, you can see our mileage is about 78,000. You can see here our oil change sticker tells us we should have changed that 75,000 and 12 of 22. So right now it's February of 23. So we're a little bit overdue for an oil change. So we ran our code scan. Let's see what we have here. Nothing special. So we got 19 codes, 3 engine codes. Let's see what they are. So we have an oil pressure code, oil pressure sensor code, cylinder number 5 misfire, and an incorrect engine oil type. According to the scanner, the vehicle is a 2013 5.7 Hemi Charger, not a 12 like the hood stated. As I say, you want to double check. So like I was saying, I know in some older Chrysler products, if you had a misfire, it would shut down the injector to save the catalytic converter. And until you went in and reset your monitors, it wouldn't reactivate the injector, because it was trying to save the catalytic converter from trying to burn up. So I'm going to save all these codes that I have, and then I will clear them. And then I will see if it's possible to reactivate the injector, if it's disabled, and then we'll move forward with our testing. So I went ahead and checked. It doesn't look like the injector was disabled. So now we're looking at our cylinder misfire counter. You can see cylinder 5 is completely dead. So we can scroll down to some more cylinders. So we are dead on cylinder 5. So my first step here will be that we're going to take a look at the spark plugs and the coils on cylinder 5. and as well as run an injector test with a Noid light to see if those things are operating. So we're underneath our hood now. So we're on the driver's side, and our cylinder number 5, this is 1, 3, this is cylinder number 5 right here. Second one from the back. But if you look down there, we see writing from a junkyard. So we know that this engine has been replaced. So where I'm going to start is, it's easier to check this injector right here. So I will put a Noid light in here, start it up, and then see, is this firing? Then if it is firing, I will take a resistance resistance measurement on here and compare it to here on cylinder number 3, because we know 3 is functioning as it should. So So we are getting power to our injector. We're gonna set this on ohms, and we will take a reading at this injector here. I need a little bit of light, so. 17 ohms. Excuse me, that was injector 5. So now let us go to injector 3. Because remember, we know cylinder 3 is good. So let's see, what do we have on 3. So we're around the same. 12, 13 there on 3, and and 12, 3 on 5. So now this only proves that our injector is electrically good. It still could be clogged, but I don't think that's the case. Remember, we heard some noise when this thing was running. So I want to do the simple electrical checks first, because they are very, very easy to do. So we know we have a good signal to our injector. We also know that the injector is electronically sound. So next what we're going to do is pull this coil pack out and see how this thing looks. And we'll we're just going to immediately just swap it over, because that will be very, very quick. We'll swap the whole coil pack over and see if that changes anything. So number 5 coil didn't have a retainer lock on it. This is our coil pack here. Seems okay. This is 3. So we're going to stick 3 down in the hole of number, let me stick the 5 in 3 first. This one's a little bit hard to reach. Put that tab back in later. So now let's fire it up and look back at our scatter for misfire data. So we still have a dead miss on cylinder 5 as suspected. 3 is running good. So I was pretty sure that we had a mechanical problem, and that's what it seems like. So our next step is we will take a compression reading to see how much compression this cylinder has. I'm pulling out one of the spark plugs on cylinder 5 to prepare to do our compression test. And if you notice, I took coil 3 back off as well because we need to compare when we're doing our compression test. But I want to see how this thing looks. There you go. Just let it focus in. So it definitely hasn't been firing. Smells just like straight gasoline. Fuel. So let us take one out on 3 so you can see a comparison here. That's weird because the one on 5 was really tight and this one isn't. So now you can see this is off of 3. I'm going to sit this one up here by coil 3. So we're going to take our compression gauge. This is our compression gauge. We're going to screw this in and run a compression test. But I have to disable the ignition or fuel system so we can do that because we don't want the car to start. So let me disable. Disabled our ignition system. We pulled our ASD relay, our ASD fuses, so the ignition system will not fire. So we have our compression gauge screwed into one of the spark plugs on cylinder 5. So now let us hook it up here. So we got that. So we will So we got pretty good compression there. We're looking around 200 or so there. So let's see if you can see that one there. So around 200. So we'll relieve that. Now let's stick it in cylinder 3 and see what we have. So we've got even a little bit better here on cylinder 3. So we're around 250. But I heard a pop while this thing was going on. So the next thing it seems to tell me is that I believe I want to pull this valve cover off. So I'm going to give you a couple quick tips to get this valve cover off. This harness that goes for our coils and our injectors, I completely remove it out of the way. So I unplugged it from here, our throttle body, unplugged it from our oil temp sensor, unplugged it from down here on our air conditioning compressor, and then to get to this one bolt at the bottom that's kind of hard to reach, I unmounted our coolant reservoir so we could get it out of the way so we could get to that bolt easily, and the rest of them were just a straight shot. So I got all our bolts out, ladies and gentlemen. So now we're about to pull this valve cover off and see if we have what I think we had. So I'm thinking a broken valve spring, but it's probably got a collapsed lifter or something like that on cylinder 5. So let's get this valve cover up out of here. So we should evacuate our air conditioning. We're just gonna tweak that line a little bit here. See, so this is cylinder 5. Everything looks okay there. Yeah, that's normal. This one, I think we had this one at top dead center. So everything seems okay as what we're seeing right now. I don't feel a broken valve spring yet. So I'm hoping we can easily capture this on camera. This is our intake rocker for cylinder 5. This is our intake rocker for cylinder 3. 5 is where we have our misfire. I've painted 5 red and silver, and 3 silver. So I want you to watch as I crank this over. You can watch how far this one goes down and how far this one doesn't. So the valve is not opening all the way. So let's show this on the camera. Then look at how we're getting plenty of oil out of all the rest of the intakes, but not out of 5. So look at how much oil is squirting out of our rocker on 1, 3, 5 is nice and dry, and on 7. So I believe we probably have a failed lifter down there. It is not getting oil and it's not staying all the way pumped up. That's why this rocker arm isn't opening all the way, thus causing our misfire. So at this point, we have to talk to our customer and see, because it will involve some internal engine repair. The lifters on this thing are underneath the cylinder head. So to put lifters in it, you have to pull off the head. Okay, so the customer did approve us to remove the cylinder head and see what's going on with the lifter. So we got it out, and I want you to take a note of something. You see how that lifter, the plunger, so this is cylinder 5, so you can cylinder 1, 2, 3, 1, 3, 5, 7. Look how, do you see something? You see something in here, something looks different than the rest.
And you can notice this is our clip. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? It's stuck right there inside the lifter hole. Okay, so we've pulled our lifter out. And this is why when you hear noise in your engine, you stop. You don't continue to drive it. So look at that. See how that is worn? So this is the bad intake one off 5. Let me grab a good one out so you can see. This is a good one. See how it still spins? You see how it was just covered in oil? The other one wasn't. See how that and that. See how it's just beat up inside the body of the lifter. So now let's try to stick. You won't go. It's gonna make it.
Man, that thing is non-existent. That thing is non-existent.
Ooh, baby.
Man, look, you see, that thing is over with. That's why it wasn't moving in that rocker. This thing is a wrap. Just cut it off.
Okay, so our camshaft is out. You can see this is our new camshaft. Look at how that lobe looks. And this is our bad, damaged one. Look at that. So, thing is bad. So we have our 5.7 all back together, both heads on. And if everyone remembers from our diagnostic video, the marker that is rocked in red barely moved because the camshaft was worn out and we didn't have any oil shooting up. So we're gonna crank this thing over, let it build oil pressure, and see how much more travel we have now. You can go ahead. Come on, crank it. We got oil. Okay, stop. So we're just trying to build some oil pressure. You see, we got oil pressure there now. So that is good. So we got movement and oil pressure. So we're gonna put this thing back together and fire it up. So we have our cooling system bled, and unfortunately, because this car had the wrong coolant in it, we're gonna use a universal coolant that I know will mix with whatever's in here. Because there's still, I'm sure, some residual of the wrong coolant being in here. So we're gonna start it up right now. Okay, so let's start it up. I believe I put all my fuses back.
Need a second to get the fuel up there?
Try it again. Okay. So there we go. We are running. The lifters should kind of quiet down here in a second after they fully pump up. That's just residual fluid and oil and stuff burning off from the exhaust. You can see it's quieting down. So I'll plug the scanner in a little while just so we can make sure we don't have a misfire, which it should be gone, I'm sure. Hey, hit the gas! Okay, so we'll let this thing run and then I'll plug the scanner in and we should be home free here. So this is the following day. We let our charger sit overnight. We drove it, runs fine. We let it sit here in the bay, run. No overheating, no nothing. We're just gonna give it a cold start this morning before we, excuse me, deliver it back to the customer. So let's give us a cold start here. See what we have. So still no check engine light. We do have a little bit of belt squeal there. It does need a belt. Tire pressure light is on, but everything is good. So this thing is all wrapped up. So thank you for following along with us here at White One Auto. If you want to be a customer or you need some help, you can reach us here at the shop, 313-264-1689. Thank you very much.